Black White Zombies versus Mardu Vehicles.
Jacob Baugh is a very skilled pilot when it comes to these mid-range green creature decks. You know, we saw him win an Open last year with Rally the Ancestors combo in Standard. The Aetherworks Marvel deck played enough mid-rangey elements as well.
All right. So game underway. Baugh will be going first, starts on Overgrown Tomb. For Fronsee, it's a start on Eldrazi Temple. Baugh does have the turn 2 Birds of Paradise here. And I think, yeah, one Temple means a second. It's Thought Knot Seer turn 2 from Adam Fronsee, one of the scarier starts out of this deck.
Though this hand is pretty strong against Thought Knot Seer.
Yeah, it's Collected Company. Yeah, so 2 copies of Collected Company, a Court of Calling, and 2 more lands. You know, back when Eldrazi even was really powerful, remember the Grand Prix Detroit, one of the, probably the American Grand Prix with the most copies of Eldrazi ever? That was won by a Company deck. You know, Company is a strategy that can hang with some of the better Eldrazi draws. You know, turn 2 Thought Knot is kind of the broken Eldrazi draw.
Right. Yeah, but depending on the quality of this Collected Company, things could turn in Jacob Baugh's way in a hurry.
So one Collected Company is going to be exiled by Thought Knot Seer. Or perhaps Court of Calling. We'll take a look at which one he wants. Yeah, he takes the Cord, leaving both companies for Baugh.
Yeah, this makes it so that if Baugh gets the better part of a combo off of the first Collected Company, he can't just Cord into whatever he wants after the fact.
Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. It gives him a little less control. And Cord, of course, exiled here, so it's not like Baugh can Company into an Eternal Witness to get it back. So plays Gavany Township. Baugh just drew another land. He's going to go for that main phase Collected Company. Seems as he picks up a card here, but see what he wants to, what he can spin into. 6 cards. Looks like Duskwatch Recruiter is among them, and Devoted Druid. So sure, this is a good part of the combo. If you missed us earlier, this is 1 card off from just winning the game. Vizier of Remedies, the card out of Amonkhet. This is the card that Jacob's looking for. So with Vizier of Remedies, with Devoted Druid, that will create, their combination creates as much green mana as Jacob Baugh wants. He can feed that into Duskwatch Recruiter to sift through his deck, where he'll eventually find a copy of Walking Ballista, make that one arbitrarily large, and send it all upstairs.
And Baugh's list, it does only have the 1 Duskwatch Recruiter. We saw a list that had more previously.
I actually need to check here. So there's not a Walking Ballista on Jacob Baugh's list.
Going for a kill with Ronus the Indomitable.
He does have Ronus the Indomitable. We saw Carpenter and Ely Cassis playing the Walking Ballista earlier, but no, he just has the Ronus instead. Yeah, no copies of Kessig Wolfrun either, so the Ronus is the way he does this. We see a Noble Hierarch from Fronsee, exalts Thought Knot Seer, and passes. No colored mana, so not a path to exile to play around. No instant speed, like no dismember or anything either. So we're seeing a Collected Company from Baugh. If he finds Vizier of Remedies, this should be good enough for the win. And it looks like there it is. So the other half of the combo was found in the Collected Company.
And Ronus is right there too.
Oh, right there. We don't even need Duskwatch Recruiter. So Vizier of Remedies and Devoted Druid interact, and now Devoted Druid untaps without getting a 1/1 counter on it. So it can keep tapping for green as many times as it wants. That means the Ronus' ability of 3 mana to give a guy +2/+0 and trample seems pretty good here. It'll make his creatures large enough to deal the full 20, and Jacob Baugh gets the first game.
Yeah, nothing Adam could have done about it from there.
No, a turn 4 kill through Thought Knot Seer. This deck looks really impressive.
Yes. That hand was particularly, again, Thought Knot Seer proof. The double Collected Company Court of Calling hand.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose if we give him the Court of Calling, yeah, no matter which card Fronsee took, there was going to be a turn 4 kill on Baugh's side.
Yeah, I think that the way that he played it was the correct way. It gave Baugh the lowest odds. He had to naturally find the Vizier off the Collected Company.
Yeah. All right, so let's look at Adam Fronsee's sideboard. He's got 3 Negates, 3 Stony Silences, 2 Elspeth Sun's Champion, 2 Worship, 2 Rest in Peace, 2 Blessed Alliance, and a Natural State.
All right, so Negate is somewhat reasonable. You can use it to counter the Collected Companies, the Court of Calling. Now, most of these lists have Walking Ballista. With the infinite walking ballista kill, Worship won't do anything. With
Right.
Baugh's specific configuration, Worship forces some other things to happen. You know, Baugh would have to have an answer to the Worship itself. He can't just trample through that problem.
Yeah, now, there's no way Fronsee to know. He's probably asking Caleb on this, like, hey, are they cold to Worship?
Yeah.
My guess if I'm playing as an unknown combo deck is probably not.
Right.
If you have a hexproof creature, probably yes.
Yeah, there's no Kasali Pride Mage in the main deck here either.
Yeah, in the main, his deck actually is cold to Worship. Well, hold on for a second. He can still, so Jacob Baugh is playing 2 copies of Viscera Seer, 1 Anafenza Kintree Spirit, and 4 Kitchen Finks. So if he makes infinite green mana and has a Duskwatch Recruiter, isn't it true that he can just start, I guess he can't cast Anafenza, but if he has Vizier of Remedies, that would work too. So all he would need is a black mana. He would draw his whole deck, find the copies of that combo. I think he still might kill him.
But can certainly gain infinite life.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, he could gain infinite life.
But anyway,
Right.
post sideboard.
Yeah.
The important thing is post sideboard there is a Kasali Pride Mage.
Sure.
And then the Path to Exiles are reasonable for slowing Adam down as well. Those are kind of the cards that Baugh's looking at here.
Yeah, over on Baugh's sides, yeah. Baugh has Path to Exile. So, I mean, really, Adam Fronsee's missing that spot removal, right? He's got 4 Path to Exiles in the main. Sometimes you see, like, some Dromoka's Commands in the sideboard. Those would be really nice here, but Fronsee hasn't brought them to the table.
Some Dismembers would be really nice.
Yeah.
He has 2 main deck copies of Engineered Explosives, which are pretty strong against the combo. You can set that up. They're a little slow, though. That's kind of the problem there.
And all the game ones, quick ones. Devin Koepke over in Legacy with Grixis Delver takes game 1 off of Caleb Scherer. And that's good news. So in the standard match, it is Roger Bodee taking a game off Justin Uppal. One thing learning from the Pro Tour was Black White Zombies may have been the deck that players sleeved up to beat Mardu. So in Justin's spot, he's got to be thankful for the fact right now that his teammates have both taken game 1s.
Right.
I'm going to go over for Jacob Baugh, player the Season 3 Invitational winner. You know, remember him of Team Card Hoarder, took down the finals over Ben Friedman with Aetherworks Marvel. And that, as a result, he got to have his artwork on a token here. He chose the energy counter as he was playing Aetherworks Marvel to the victory. That's still being given away at all our opens and classics at Star City Games, but it's only going to be for Season 1 until we have we're a month away from having a new invitational winner. So if you want to get one of these, you can head on out to any open or classic. We have 2 more of them before our invitational. And if those aren't in your area, we also ship those in orders of StarCityGames.com of at least $5.
I have several Jacob Baugh energy reserves. I'm going to be picking up another one on my way out today. Got some nice cube cards in an order.
So do you put a card out for each energy, or do you just put dice on the card?
I'm getting to the point where I have enough to just stack energy reserves. I got a big stack of Jacob Baughs.
If that was my token, that's what I would do. Just got to get a lot of them.
Yeah.
It's be real obnoxious too about it.
I could go have Jacob sign all of my energy reserves.
All right, we're going to go toward a second game here between the two. Fronsee on the play this time. Players still learning this matchup, especially on Fronsee's side. You see him consulting with teammates about this.
Bant Eldrazi does have a little bit of a weak spot for go-wide creature decks that they feature various casting costs, in particular this combo kill. I know one of Bant Eldrazi's worst matchups in Modern is Elves, for example.
It's really difficult, yeah.
And the gameplay is relatively similar between that deck and the Counters Company deck.
Yeah, we saw that during when Eldrazi was really strong. The decks people played to beat it. Affinity, Elves, Company, and even to a certain level, Merfolk. And the things they have in common is those are decks that commit to the board really hard. Fronsee on the play. Both players keeping 7. Adam starts off on a Breeding Pool into Ancient Stirrings. Ancient Stirrings are really one of the advantages to playing the Bant version of Eldrazi. Just such a powerful card.
This is the strongest 1-mana card draw spell in the format.
Finds a copy of Thought Not Seer. And remember, last game, Baugh won that on turn 4. Adam had a turn 2 Thought Not Seer, among the strongest plays in Modern. It was more brushed aside by Jacob.
You see 4-mana, 4/4 creatures, while powerful, do not generate infinite mana.
Jacob didn't even get the card back. It was just it was a 4-mana Thoughtseize for 2. For a 4 Thoughtseize for 2. It's great. Just a tap land for Baugh. If your Birds of Paradise Noble Hierarch opponent starts off on a tap land, kind of makes me think he already has the combo.
At least the turn 2 devoted Druid.
Well, that's part of the combo.
You are right. The Druid is the card that you want to have first because it does not have haste.
So it's Engineer Explosives on 2 for Fronsee. That certainly defends against the combo.
Looks like Baugh at least has Vizier in his hand.
Yeah, his Vizier, Eternal Witness. And now we'll get to see it all as there's a Thought Not Seer. So Vizier, this is interesting. All right. Jacob's hand. He's got the Vizier of Remedies. He's got an Eternal Witness. He's got Ronus.
That's not great in the opener.
Yeah, you might think, yeah, this is the kind of deck where there's enough ways it can win because its engine, the infinite green mana engine, is so powerful that taking their win con and hoping they can't recover is probably not what you want to do.
Yeah.
It has a Linvala. That came out of the sideboard.
That one will interact with Eldrazi Displacer and Drowner of Hope.
Right, it's a copy of Collected Company, which is just 2 creatures. And then he has that 3rd land of Gavany Township.
He set Ronus to the side, which either means
he's getting a judge ruling on
this means that Jacob's card is not English.
It's like, what does that do? Let's double check it. So Ronus is a 5/5 Death Touch indestructible for 3. It says it cannot attack or block unless you control a creature with power 4 or greater. But for 2 and a green, it gives a different creature +2/+0 and trample until end of turn. So at 6 mana, you can basically, and as long as you have another creature, it can make itself work.
Jacob's deck plays 0 creatures that naturally have power 4 or greater, making this into a
that's why we bolster
body.
onto things.
Yeah, it involves at least synergies. Frequently, it'll be the combo that makes this live.
Gavany Township. That's how we're gonna get.
Yeah,
we're gonna do that to all the creatures. Once we get townshipped enough times, he'll be online.
Yeah, what I'm getting at is on turn 3, this one does not do a lot.
No, it just kind of sits around. Interestingly, these are different than the other gods in that they are still creatures, even when they are not active. And it looks like Collected Company is what ended up getting exiled. Took the most raw power. So that'll allow Jacob to cast a Linvala here on turn 3. Unclear how much damage the Linvala does to Adam's hand. He's got another Thought Not in hand right now, though.
It looks like a Path to Exile on the back of the hand.
All right, so if he respects the Linvala enough to path, we'll go for Thought Not Seer first. He wants to see the pickup. It looks like it was a 2nd Vizier of Remedies.
No reason to touch those.
Yeah, they have Engineer Explosives on 2 at the ready. And you mentioned no Kasali Pride Mage. There's not really a way for Baugh to get Engineer Explosives for 2 off the board just yet. He has a Selfless Spirit in his sideboard, so he could find that and preemptively play that. Looks like Adam actually is going to take the Ronus with the 2nd Thought Not Seer.
Yeah, that Township plus a 1 activation of the Township with Linvala leaves a 4/5.
Sure.
So it looks like Adam is interested in pathing that one straight away.
He's going to go ahead and path that. I suppose is there a reason to not path on upkeep? Why would you path? It's a path main phase.
Yeah, the only thing that Linvala could do this way is chump block.
So 4 damage will come in. We'll go back over to Baugh's turn. Untapping, he has Eternal Witness and 2 Vizier of Remedies. However, all his cards from Thought Not Seer have been exiled so far. And actually the Path to Exile. So Eternal Witness doesn't have anything to find just yet.
I've gotten a lot of fetch lands back with Eternal Witness, but the texture of those games was very different from this one.
Right.
In particular, turn 1 mana creature, turn 2 Witness for fetch land. That line can be pretty powerful.
Yeah, absolutely.
On this board, he's facing down 2 4/4s.
Right.
Needs to get something a lot more significant going.
Yeah. Well, looks like he is going to cast the Eternal Witness. The only card I can get back is Verdant Catacombs. So he'll bring that into hand. And then use it to continue developing his mana. Now, with this engineered explosives in play, it's not... What is he building up toward? Is there, is there anything that he can build toward?
Well, we've seen his hand. There's nothing going on there.
Right.
He's just kind of casting the spells that he has.
We did see some like in Ely Cassis's build, we saw an interesting thing where he was playing multiple copies of Knight of the Reliquary in this deck, which in that situation, you could think accompanying into some Knight of the Reliquaries was a really good, that would actually be very strong on this board.
But Baugh's build is extremely two-centric. There's access to some threes, and he has, Seer, Kitchen Finks, some 2-mana creature infinite combo that can force the explosives, and then he has backup Vizier.
Justin Uppal takes the second game over Roger Bodee, so they'll be going to a third decider over on the standard table.
Looks like Adam picked up a Reality Smasher, so he'll be able to apply a lot of pressure in very short order.
Now, what he has to decide here is whether that is a good additional pressure, whether or not it's enough pressure to take down engineered explosives. That's probably not the case.
Yeah, you have to be worried about Kitchen Finks plus Viscera. Again, it keeps coming back to this downside of the deck. If you don't untap with the Devoted Druid, you can't combo with it.
Yeah. Also, remember, his Ronus is gone, so he actually, well, I mentioned before, he still has other things he can combo. Maybe not game-winning ones, but ones that make the game very difficult. If he swings both Thought Gnats, because the Eternal Witness and the Vizier are both 2/1s, so you'll attack with both, there is a double block that Baugh could go for. He would lose his team to the engineered explosives, but it would be gone. So instead, Baugh actually just takes the full 8. And then Fronsee plays Eternal Witness for Path to Exile. That's very strong.
Yeah. Can have his choice of explosive or path, or just leaving both up.
Yeah, with that sweeper and the kill spell, it's going to be hard for Baugh to work his way through this. But he did draw Selfless Spirit. He'll cast that. And that will probably force Path to Exile from Adam. He can't engineer explosives through it.
This board isn't doing too terribly much.
Right. Adam will crack engineered explosives on for 2. So Jacob, in response, will sacrifice the Selfless Spirit to give all his creatures indestructible. But that was on his turn, so now I go back to Adam's turn, and they are once again able to be killed.
And Adam has Path in hand, and he can leave that up in addition to casting Smasher.
That's going to be really good. There is a Township activation that Baugh has going on, but that may not be enough to be alive here. So he'll swing the entire team. If Baugh can't activate Township, any 2 attackers is still lethal. And that's not even counting the Path to Exile. He's going to lose his board. And Baugh blocks with just about everything. Gets to leave Vizier of Remedies in play. So Baugh will go to 1 on this turn. But I don't know if he has any way to win haste off the top. Puts the second Vizier. He wants to force Adam to use the Path to Exile. And he'll activate Township. As Adam might, he doesn't even have to use the path here.
Yeah, I can realistically just... Yeah, the Eternal Witness and the Vizier, they're both 2/1s at their base. They only escalated to 3/2s, so the Thought-Knot Seer still just trades with both of them.
Right.
The Township activation made it so that the Birds of Paradise trades with the Eternal Witness, so may as well do that. So he lets the trade happen. So
2 of Fronsee's creatures for all of Baugh's. Baugh draws an extra card off Thought Knot. Over on the legacy, we have our first match finished. It is Devin Koepke 2-0 defeating Caleb Scherer. So the team of Koepke, Baugh, and Uppal take 1 match. They're going to need one of these game 3s, however, as Adam Fronsee does win that one. So it's going to be Baugh or Uppal needing to win one of these.
And Baugh is going to be on the play with his explosive combo deck here.
Yeah. And, you know, that game we saw, I think, a bit of a crack in the deck. Engineered Explosives on 2 was very powerful against him.
It was quite good. I think that the story was really around those Thought Knot Seers.
Sure.
You know, Baugh ended up casting Eternal Witness for basically no value after having gone through some pretty powerful spells that were just exiled. There's also the fail rate where drawing Ronus is pretty poor.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. When you talk about, look at Bant Eldrazi, I mean, really one of the strengths of the deck is that Thought Knot Seer and Reality Smasher in particular are just amazing cards in almost every matchup. And this is no exception. If you can turn 3-4 double Thought Knots, it's going to be very good.
Right.
You know, and Adam did just that. Though we've seen that was game 1, Jacob Baugh won through a turn 2 Thought Knot.
Though it's certainly possible.
Yeah.
His hand in game 1 was a lot more powerful than his hand in game 2.
That's true. You see right now that they're going and talking over Justin Uppal. Currently in game 3 over there. That's the Zombies and Mardu matchup. Koepke going to come over and talk with Uppal about that. That's an interesting team here. Justin Uppal, if you aren't familiar with him, in the past, about 3 years ago, was one of the mainstays here on the SCG Tour, and good friends with the two of them. By his own admission, doesn't play, has a lot of Magic chops by having played so much and being a strong player, but isn't particularly familiar with the current state of Magic. So in the situation, you know, it's that spot where a very good pilot but counts on his teammates for format knowledge.
You may remember Justin Uppal as the guy who activated Jace the Mind Sculptor and got tagged by Notion Thief.
That is a best of SCG Live moment.
It was
and
one
a true
of the
one.
more known Magic the Gathering gifts.
So remember, we'll start game 3 here between Baugh and Fronsee. If at any point, if Uppal wins his match, that will conclude the round. In the meantime, these gentlemen are going to start their 3rd game. If either of them concludes the match, if Baugh wins as well, it's done. All right. You can watch your neighbors, but games at the same time you have to keep pace on your own. So the Modern 3rd match will start. You see Caleb Scherer tending to the Modern match. So on the play, Baugh starts on Forest Birds of Paradise.
And that is particularly powerful in matchups like this. The Bant Eldrazi deck only has things like Path to Exile, Engineered Explosives for removal spells.
Yeah, there's no Lightning Bolt, and you don't really want to path a turn 1 Birds of Paradise anyway.
No.
I think matching it, which is what Fronsee's doing, might be his best answer.
Yep.
You see, did you mention there's no copies of Dismember in Fronsee's list? Viscera Seer from Baugh. And this is something we actually saw from Brad Carpenter's deck as well. They're hybridizing right now their company decks. They still have 1 Anafenza, 2 Viscera Seer, along with a set of Kitchen Finks.
That is not the most ideal turn 2 from Baugh. Of course, what he would like to have had was Devoted Druid specifically.
Right.
But there's a lot of stuff that's between that and Viscera Seer in terms of quality.
A Talisman from Fronsee. It does suggest that if he's going to keep something of birds into Viscera Seer, I would think he's got Collected Company in his hand.
Yep.
It just makes sense.
I imagine that is.
Well, he kept it for some reason, and, and it wasn't Viscera Seer.
It's 7 cards.
Actually, it's Linvala is the play.
Well, that shuts off Noble Hierarch.
Yeah, that card turns off a creature's activated abilities, and it's quite mean in that it doesn't care if they're mana abilities or not.
Yeah, the only thing it cares about is who that belongs to.
Right. He'll float. Fronsee in response will float a mana and path to exile away the Linvala.
A much better target for Path than Birds of Paradise.
Right. If you look over, though, at Fronsee's hand, he's got, looks like Reality Smasher, Eternal Witness, and 2 more lands as his follow-ups.
Baugh actually decides he'd rather have a Scry than a basic.
Okay. that either shows that his hand is very poor, like all lands, or it means that his hand is very good. Normally you'd take the land there.
Yeah, mostly that he just does not care about that extra mana.
Right. That makes me think he's on a land flood.
It's certainly possible. Does have 4 mana sources on the battlefield already, though.
The deck just doesn't need many more, perhaps.
Right.
So Fronsee draws Eldrazi Temple. That's going to be particularly strong, as he can now cast Reality Smasher while holding up a possible path to exile if he has it. Here's Reality Smasher. It hit him for 6. Baugh down to 14. And just a pass. We know Wastes and Eternal Witness are in Fronsee's hand. And yeah, Baugh is flush up on lands. It might just be all land. Viscerous here will attack Fronsee down to 17. All right, over on the standard match, it is Roger Bodee defeating Justin Uppal. So this match is now the decider. It's Kitchen Finks is the play from Jacob Baugh. He gains 2 and passes. And right now, things look good for Adam Fronsee.
Baugh does have the better part of the Kitchen Finks combo.
Yeah, and remember, he's not as resilient on that one. You know, only 1 Anafenza, no Maliras.
And looks like Fronsee has an Eternal Witness for his path to exile.
Yeah. Now, he can't actually just path Kitchen Finks because of Viscerous here. But it does help him if, say, Baugh top decks a combo. It will help him break that up.
Right.
He has 2 Cavern of Souls. One's on Human and one's on Eldrazi, so nothing's counterable. Jacob's not really countering anything anyway. Here is Eternal Witness getting back path to exile. Just 2 more lands in Fronsee's hand, though, so most of his stuff's on the board. A 6/6 Smasher hits again. Baugh will go to 10. And his draw, it looks like it was a copy of Chord of Calling. He'll pass.
And with that path to exile just being face up on the table, Baugh knows not to go for the combo here. Wouldn't really accomplish much of anything.
And another Noble Hierarchon from Fronsee. He'll cast it off the Cavern of Souls. Remember, one of those set to Human. Swing with Reality Smasher. That's a swing for 7. He'll put Baugh down to 3. That's going to force some play from Baugh. We'll see if that is a chord. If he's going to end step go for it, he'll fetch down to 2.
It can't just do nothing.
Right.
Against this Reality
Well, this is
Smasher.
interesting, right? He can get Anafenza. That assembles the combo. Yes, there's a path, but having an onboard combo still provides a lot of threat. He also could just get one of, I suppose, Fiend Hunter. He could Fiend Hunt away the Reality Smasher, and the good part is that because of Viscerous here, he can stack the Fiend Hunter triggers, so the Smasher's never coming back.
Right. They don't template cards in a way that allows you to do this trick anymore.
I guess if he really thinks he has control of the situation, he could do something like Chord for Eternal Witness. He still has the Chord. Plays another fetch land. Maybe that just is the play. We'll see. Here's Kitchen Finks. Oh, wow. Okay, Baugh's going to go up to 4. Now, this is actually really powerful. So if Baugh chords for Anafenza, he kind of has a combo through, in a way, he has a combo through the path.
It depends if Fronsee moves on the path on Seer in response to Chord.
Right.
Because that just shuts off his ability to do that.
Right, because otherwise, if Fronsee doesn't make that play, he actually will get infinite life tier through a path to exile. Jacob Baugh starts going for the combo on 1 Kitchen Finks, and if there's ever any response, then he just does it with the other Kitchen Finks.
Yeah, presumably, you'll see Baugh cast Chord for X equals 3 because it is X or less. If nothing happens, he can just go for this combo. If something happens,
if he does path the Seer, he gets the Fiend Hunter. Yeah. You know, for as many creatures as they play, I sometimes really can like these decks. Like, that kind of versatility is really neat. It's putting 7 power in front of it. It's enough to kill the Smasher. He just says, yeah, that's fine. That is assuming the Anafenza's still in his deck.
Baugh actually looks like he's playing to see if Adam will go for the path just with lethal blockers in the way.
This is a pretty free bait, right? The play we talked about. If that's his play, don't you think that, like, this is free to try this?
Assuming that you are actually fine with this outcome.
No, you're not going to do it. If Adam passes you priority, Jacob's going to do it anyway.
Sure.
Right? But, like, maybe this entices Adam to use his pass to exile unwisely.
Right.
Like, I like it. It's free value to try this because you're going to get the Fiend Hunter anyway. This isn't happening.
Right.
And now, Baugh, okay, Adam passed priority on the block. So, okay, now it's showtime, Jacob. Are you actually going to do, are you actually okay with this trade?
Yeah, if he just gets 2 persisted Kitchen Finks against this Eternal Witness, that'll be attacking as a 4/3. That's not really a great position.
It tramples for 2. So Baugh would go down to 2, then up to 6 on all the persist triggers. Question is then, from that board state, what does he court for? I guess he starts courting for Eternal Witnesses. He can just get some of those for free if he wants. Yeah, he's going to pull the trigger. Tap everything. So, 1, 2. 3, 4, 5. Is it going to be 6? It is. It's only for 2, so he can't make the Fiend Hunter play this way. So in response, path to exile on Viscera Seer. No reason to scry in response to that. I am a little interested in not just taking x equals 3 here. So he'll get the land off path to exile. That was his one copy. He has 2 copies of Viscera Seer, so he actually could go for this again. And this does mean the Reality Smasher is going to survive. There's only 6 power in front of it now.
And now we'll find out what the plan with the cord is.
Yeah, Vizier of Remedies is not a bad find for it. It means that the Kitchen Finks will just come back as 3/2s again.
Yeah, that's totally reasonable.
Trample over. The trample's going to be for 3. Baugh would go to 1, but then he'll gain 4. That looks like it's going to be his play. And in a way, this might actually be stronger than getting Fiend Hunter. They both leave him with a similar board.
Yeah, well,
and this way he has a combo piece.
Seeing as the Seer was off the battlefield before the Fiend Hunter would have shown up, it would just be an exposed Fiend Hunter on the table.
So Baugh, the trample puts him down to 1, but these 2 persisting Kitchen Finks put him back up to 5. But no cards in hand now for Baugh, and here's Eldrazi Sky Spawner. Remember, that can exalt up to a, right now, 4/3, not entirely lethal. But it's getting very close.
Birds of Paradise still hanging out as a chump blocker as well.
Yeah, it's going to put some pressure, though. Baugh needs to find another combo piece. Something good here. Another Viscera Seer. That would do it.
Yep. Only
Eternal
2 copies in the deck.
Eternal Witness. There's Infinite Life looms with some certain draws here. What does Baugh hit? It's another Chord of Calling.
Well.
And that's there. Hear Devin from across the room. That's Chord for 1. That's going to get Viscera Seer. Yeah, let's gain some life.
And,
says Baugh.
Let's also put our deck
scry
in an order where I draw something that kills you next turn.
And a huge top deck. That may be enough to send Jacob, Baugh, and teammates into day 2. There's the Viscera Seer. So you can sacrifice us Kitchen Finks, gain 2, scry 1. Kitchen Finks comes back without a -1/-1 counter, thanks to the Vizier. And Jacob's going to run that one a few times here. But first he'll attack. It's pretty free.
Not one to leave value on the table.
No, it's just correct. And that should do it. He's going to start by sacking the kitchen finks. So he has as many scry 1s as he wants. He'll go to an arbitrarily large life total. So what he's doing is he's looking through his deck, and then he can cut it to any card.
Yep.
You can't stack your deck, but you can cut your... The function is you can like move the top card to the bottom as many times as you want. So you can basically cut your deck to the card of your choice.
The cards maintain the same order, in a sense.
Yeah.
The one you want is the one that you draw next.
And now, and you can, and it's an acceptable shortcut to look through it, as you could just say, well, I'll scry 1 the whole deck to start, and then I'll decide what I want to cut to. And Adam's gonna draw a card, and he says, yeah, 100 million is the style play from Jacob. That's the number he chose.
It's not a very interesting number. I think I would have teased Adam a little bit. I would have said like
50.
6,000.
Yeah,
50 is pretty low. 50 is pretty low.
He can't kill you from 50.
You can't actually stack your deck if you only go to 50 life.
108. Fine. You're just like, on Moto, I go to 50.
I scry until I find the thing that I want, and I'm probably at enough left by that point in time.
And Bob picks the bottom card, puts it on top.
Probably a Court of Calling.
Yeah, and that does work. You can cut it to that card. That's fine.
It's usually Court of Calling.
Sure. So from here, yeah, asking him how he might win. I guess eventually he can just start lining up Devoted Druids. That seems fine.
Presumably, there's an Anafenza hanging out somewhere, and he could infinite bolster.
Collected Company, sure.
Collected Company.
Why risk? Well, I guess he knows what it's hitting.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so if this just hits, if I saw the 2 creatures I wanted, and then I'm like, hey, there's a company within 6 cards of them, I'm going to go to the company, then I get a bonus creature. You can see he gets the Devoted Druid and now Kitchen Finks too. It's just free value. And still attacks with 2 more Kitchen Finks. I don't believe Fronsee has a way out of this.
Worship? Maybe? I'm left to wonder.
I guess he might be playing Worship. So he will Path to Exile away the Vizier. In response, Baugh's going to, take... His combo's down now, his infinite life combo. He's going to go cut to, well, probably another Vizier.
The way it's playing out, it's not clear that Baugh still has some way to actually generate a massive amount of damage in a creature combo.
He has Ronus. You can just play... What if you just do Ronus fair without infinite mana?
Oh, that's right. With the combo we had before, he had to find the Druid first before he can Ronus. So there's some extra steps in killing versus just having Murderous Redcap in the deck.
Yeah. I mean, just an onboard Ronus at this point may be difficult for Fronsee to answer. He'll find a way. You see, he sacks the Vizier. Reality Smasher blocks a Kitchen Finks. Sky Spawner blocks a Kitchen Finks. They both persist back with counters. Jacob says go. Yeah, they're playing as though there still might be a Worship in the deck. Well, Jacob has drawn more cards. He'll mill first. Here's Eldrazi Displacer. Not sure if Baugh can Baugh kill through that? His Linvala's gone.
Well, if he has Ronus, he can make everything lethal on an attack.
He also has a Spellskite in his list, so he could just Spellskite all the Displacer triggers.
Right.
He's got the life points. It's probably fine. And now their team, you know, what was a celebration is now a little hesitant on the side of Koepke, Baugh, and Uppal. It's, you know, they're still at a million life.
Yeah, you do still have to actually win the game.
Yeah. Make that 100 million life.
Baugh's gained more life since then. He's got to be at a
yeah. He played like the Kitchen Finks persisted back.
Yeah, like 100,000,046.
Oh right, yeah. He cut the deck a few times. So yeah, you're right. He's somewhere. It's like some double-digit number past 100 million. It's like. Jacob drew the card of his choice that turn, and he just passes.
For as explosive as this deck is, I'm not thrilled about the fact that I have comboed off and seem to be struggling to actually kill my opponent.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. He's going to win from here. I mean...
Yeah, why doesn't he just do it now?
I've played clunkier combo decks than this. In History of Magic, there's some combo decks that are really, oh man, they only kind of combo. It's great. You don't know. One comes to mind. Block Constructed. There was a deck that revolved around Wild Pair and like a million different slivers. It was like, no, it's a real thing. It's not.
I don't know why you think that I'm laughing because I think it's a lie. That is stupid and funny because it's true. The fact that it's true makes it funny because that is so stupid.
One of the slivers involved you flipping a coin.
Yeah, Frenetic Sliver.
Yeah.
It's a quality Magic card.
Well, you had to get rid of the one that gave your guys Defender at some point.
If I flip enough coins, it's going to die.
Yeah, basically. Over the course of like 3 or 4 turns, you usually made enough value to combo them. That was the big finish.
What a deck. I will say that I have failed to win some number of games after resolving Mind's Desire.
Oh, that's definitely true. Mind's Desire is just probabilistic.
But
so,
it's fun. It's real fun.
I've lost on Mind's Desire for 9, and I've won on Mind's Desire for 2.
Yeah.
That's why the card's great.
Mind's Desire, Storm is 1. Flip Sins of the Past.
He's like, yeah, flip another Mind's Desire. Like, all right, we're still in this.
Good news is I get to shuffle more.
Second one flips like another Sins of the Past and a Remand, and you're like, we did it.
Game.
People are like, that's messed up. You just, it's like, yeah, I got lucky.
Listen, I don't play this deck because I like shuffling a lot.
What it looks like happened there is that Baugh on his previous scry, when the first Vizier of Remedies was pathed, he found a replacement copy of Vizier of Remedies. So all this now is happening with a Path to Exile targeting Viscera Seer on the stack.
An Eternal Witness plus Eldrazi Displacer means that Baugh's got to find a way to close this game.
Yeah, Fronsee can Path to Exile all his things.
And my assumption is that Fronsee has more cards in his library.
Yeah, so for 4 mana, Fronsee can cast Path to Exile with buyback, basically.
Yeah, you said that this was fine. I'm actually pretty nervous for Baugh now.
They may not. That's really strange. They may not be able to win through this, huh?
Nice combo deck.
And Pathway the Vizier. So Adam can force a draw here. It's unclear whether or not Baugh can win anymore. Adam's about to untap all his lands. He's got 8, 9 mana, so that's 2 Path to Exiles on demand. All right. Now there's still... With the Viscera Seer gone, Baugh can't Fiend Hunter away permanently the Displacer. With the Linvala gone, he can't... Yeah, this is a problem for Baugh.
Huh.
Okay. This is why I don't like combos that involve creatures.
You see, Adam is also playing a combo deck. His combo revolves around 3 mana creatures and 1 mana removal spells. See, I've lost to this lock playing Affinity, and it felt real bad. But I imagine that this feels about 100 million times worse.
Collected Company. This is on the end step. Wonder what is Baugh? Okay, what can he needs? He's doing this with Fronsee tapped down. Tide Hollow Sculler. He finds Sculler Eternal Witness. This is with the Path to Exile in his hand, except that does that matter? Because you can still get rid of the Sculler with Displacer. Witness gets back Collected Company. This is a neat play here from Baugh. I don't know what it does.
The question is whether or not you can trick Adam.
I guess. So he's going to Company then as well. If he had this, he just gets Birds of Paradise. Now, I suppose he could have, if Spellskite was still in his deck, he could have gotten back Chord and corded for Skite, and then Skite could have eaten all the Displacer activations. But if that's the case, then Displacer... And what he has to ask is if the card in his hand is a land... Yeah, so he can just undo this, basically. Displacer makes Tidal Sculler leave and come back. And then he can path it.
I think there was a conversation happening on Adam's team whether he should cast Path to Exile and negate his own Path to Exile. Because if you just pass the Sculler, then the negate will be permanently exiled. I don't know that he'll need access to this negate later.
The path is better than the negates. It's got to be, right?
Yeah, well, he gets to keep both with the Eternal Witness if he negates his Path to Exile.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. Alternatively, he's just going to go ahead and
pass something else.
Yeah, he's going to keep the negate under the Tide Hollow Scholar. And that's fine. He still has Path to Exile on command. Birds of Paradise drawn from Baugh. He'll cast it. But yeah, Baugh's not going to be able to deal these remaining 8 points of damage. He seems like this lock is going to... It's just solidifying here. Baugh made a really nice play with that Company into Scholar to actually get the Path to Exile. Now, he must not, it's possible he just boarded out the Spellskite. And if that's the case, then he didn't really have a way to protect it. So if this game moves to a draw, these two teams will finish at 6-2-1. And at that point, I just don't know.
Same. It would be very unfortunate to see both teams miss.
And Fronsee is going to continue to rebuy that Path to Exile. Nellavenda, it looks like he has Jacob under lock now. Jacob's whole board is pathed away. If it came down to natural decking, I believe Baugh's deck is smaller at this point. It's got to be.
It seems to be. Fronsee really hasn't done very much to get cards out of his deck. Baugh's been casting Collected Companies, Court of Calling, Fetch Lands, Path to Exile.
Yeah, this is for Caleb Scherer, Adam Fronsee, and Roger Bodee. Looks like they have this game. Well, in an untimed round, this game appears to be theirs. Now, what does that mean here? We'll have to see. It would come down to Adam locking Jacob out of the game and Adam waiting until Jacob mills. You know, assuming Jacob's deck is smaller, which it really should be. He's cast a lot of cards like Collected Company that have drawn him extra cards, whereas Adam's done nothing like that. Casting Ancient Stirrings. Wondering what he is looking for at this point. Yeah. On second, okay, second Eldrazi Displacer. That will insulate him against anything that Jacob could have to break this up. Jacob might, I mean, yeah, we have to wonder what one-ofs are still in, right? He has a Scavenging Ooze in his main deck as well. I bet he boarded that out in this matchup.
Not very good here.
I mean, it would be really good here. It would have been a while ago.
Yeah.
Once your opponent started going off with Eternal Witness Displacer path, sure. I don't, so if you assume that Spellskite and Scavenging Ooze are both out of the deck, then that's a thing. And we've gone to turns here. So, but even with 5 turns, I imagine we're going to see more of the same dynamic.
Right. The turn counters are showing up here.
All right, so yeah, they're in turn 1. So they've reached turns. Clearly, Fronsee can't win by the end of turns here. His win is Jacob milling.
Right.
I don't think Jacob can win, but I guess we'll see. Can he deal 8? That's more manageable.
He has to deal with these displacers if he wants to deal any damage.
Yeah, I mean, right, it's unclear how he would do that either. Maybe he has some hexproof card, right? If he had like Sigarda Heron's Grace, that would actually probably win here. I don't think he has one. We did see one of those in one of the sideboards earlier today. Brad Carpenter's playing one in the sideboard. I guess no, Sigarda Heron's Grace doesn't have hexproof, it just gives you hexproof.
Yeah, Sigarda
Host of Herons. That could win from here.
I've lost to that card. Would you believe that I've lost to that card?
I would. I've cast that card. Sometimes when your opponent's Junding, that's what you got to ramp into.
Oh yeah, that was in the Amulet deck.
It was. You had to hope they weren't playing Damnation. Thought Not Seer shows a grip of. There's Linvala. If he had caught Adam with the Path to Exile in the graveyard, that Linvala would have been a play.
Yep.
A good one, even. And Ancient Stirrings from Fronsee. So he exiles away the Fiend Hunter. I think he's going to find another Thought Not Seer, take another card. Assuming that his deck is sufficiently larger, well, it won't really matter here. It's not going to come to that because of the fact that this is a timed round. All Adam can really do is successfully defend for these 5 turns.
Right.
So Jacob will play out the rest of his hand. Well, Adam can Path to Exile that.
Just like he Path to Exiled
everything else. I think Adam's asking. They're seeing what are the count of the decks.
Oh, you're presenting another creature.
That's fine. They have an answer to that one too. Around 28 cards in Jacob's deck.
It would be nice if Baugh had, say, 100 million cards in his deck.
If that was part of the combo.
Yeah.
Gavany Township to draw from Baugh. And at this point, Adam is using Displacer Thought Not to successfully exile all of Jacob's draws.
That also moves through Baugh's deck quicker.
All right, he can force Jacob to draw extra cards. So yeah, if this comes down to milling, the Displacer Thought Not would certainly make Jacob mill out faster.
Right.
So he continues to path away his creatures with negate backup. Yeah, Adam has established a lock, but establishing a lock is not technically winning.
Right.
All right. So Jacob gets one more turn to present a lethal attack. He draws a land and is unable to do it. So that is going to be at the end of the round here. So he'll for sure put some 1/1 counters on his creatures.
His creatures, if unblocked, are still shy of 8.
And will also get pathed away.
That's the other problem.
And they're all exiled too.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Otherwise, it was pretty close.
All right. So that is where we are going to end our coverage here for the day. The players are going to perhaps have a discussion about it. And we'll have the standings posted at the end of the round as to how exactly they wanted to conclude the match. But either we're looking at, I think, a draw here, most likely.
Yeah,
so
that's the most likely outcome.
Yeah, I mean, certainly as they've reached the end of the time, no one has won through natural means.
Right.
So we're going to bring you back into the booth here. Matthias and Ryan Overture, thanks for joining us all of day one here on Lua for the SCG Lua.